Welcome everybody to the CJ the Smart Guy podcast. I'm CJ with you, and today I got an amazing developer, a coder from Kenya, Africa. His name is Fidel Otieno. He created a platform called Bitika where you can buy and sell Bitcoin through M-Pesa in Africa. He created himself. He's a CEO. You can buy as little bit as 10 Kenyan shillings without the need for a bank or anything like that. And so I'm always want to highlight the developers and the people who are making a difference, as well as the Bitcoiners. So welcome, Fidel, to the platform. How are you doing?
Oh, good to see you, CJ. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Look, I remember when we were in Kenya and you took me on the matatus, man. That was an experience I've never had before. It was amazing. Before I tell them about my experience with the matatu, how would you describe the matatus?
So, matatu is this common public transport that every Kenyan uses to, to move and navigate through, the hearts of Nairobi CBD. So that is what we use on a day-to-day basis, running your own errands. So it's basically our standard means of transport. So it's unique in a way that it gives that ghetto vibe. It gives the ghetto vibe.
I call it lit. Look, those things are fun to me. They're loud. They got loud music blowing out. You go inside. When we went on, they had like Black History on the inside, so like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, playing like I think it was like future music. And so like for me, it was great. Like to me, it's a bus system, but the buses are lit. It's for us, by us. So I thought it was awesome. But I do understand how some people are like, I'm tired of matatus because too much of a good thing, can be too much, just like cake or ice cream. You get too much cake or ice cream, you're gonna be like, I hate cake and ice cream. But for somebody who's never had it before, cake and ice cream is absolutely amazing. So appreciate for that
Correct. And at
experience.
times you don't have the right mood to be in that matatu. Probably you've had a long day at work and you just want a peaceful place. So the matatu would not be the ideal place for you to be because it's kind of loud. And yeah, you just want your calm place. So yeah,
It's lit. It's
depends on your
lit.
mood.
But
Good.
so cool,
Good.
cool. So okay, so
Mm.
you created Bitika. Um, what sparked the idea to create this application?
All right. So, okay, the idea began sometime last year. So it originated based on a personal experience that I had. So at that time, I used to spend most of my time orange peeling and spreading the Bitcoin gospel everywhere that I could, to strangers, to family, my dad, my mom, like literally anywhere that I used to go, I used to find that I used to find ways to integrate Bitcoin to the conversation that I had. Or Bitcoin was presenting itself as a solution to most of the challenges that, were being exposed in this conversation. So I realized after orange pilling someone, so after some period of time, maybe months, when we meet again, I now expect you, a Bitcoiner now, practicing Bitcoin or saving in Bitcoin or living in Bitcoin standard per se. But this turned out not to be the case in most of the scenarios where I've orange pilled. And I was now figuring out the bigger question, why? Because bruh, you understand what Bitcoin is here to do and to solve. And why don't you, like why aren't you like using Bitcoin as money now because now you understand the challenges that we are facing with the, traditional monetary system or financial system. I dived deep to, investigate this issue on why, and then I realized based on the same experiences, the major challenge was, how to get Bitcoin. I also reflected back on my journey, on my personal journey, and that was like 5 years ago when I was totally a newbie. I was fresh from high school. I was not a tech savvy person at that time. I had no background in technology, in a broader case. So I did struggle to understand. this whole technology, but still, when I was in that point where I understood the whole Bitcoin technology, I spent even more time trying to understand the existing platforms that, are my gateway to Bitcoin. And at that time, the famous platform was Binance. And at that point, I just looked at Binance like this, and I saw a whole bunch of confusing things. At that point, I was still green. I am not a tech savvy person. I'm still green, but I'm looking at this app, and I see a lot of things. I see a lot of graphs. I see a lot of data. I see a lot of, jargons as well, and 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 that totally pushed me back. And i I think I spent more time. I think I spent even more than a year to, try to figure out how I can use this app. At the same time, not anyone could, take me through that process. I was probably still a kid, so not anyone could just do that. Or still, if anyone could, take me through the how the app works, I would still get lost in a way. So I reflected on that, and I realized how that was an issue to my journey as a Bitcoiner. And this reflected even to, my orange peeling sessions,
Yeah.
and especially with my dad. I was trying to, now my dad is orange pilled. He understands Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is here to solve. And now he wants to now put his money in Bitcoin. And now he asked me a question: how do I get this Bitcoin? That was the existing solution back then, Binance. So I presented to him Binance, and we did not even get past the onboarding process, because
Yeah.
it was already too much for him. All that registration process, KYC, and still within that process, there's a lot of jargon. So that process actually never ended. I never convinced him to actually buy Bitcoin via Binance, because every attempt was, hectic and stressful for both me and him. So I realized that issue. And the main issue was that the existing platforms are not really working for everyone, especially in Kenya or in Africa, because the platforms are majorly designed to work for the tech savvy people. And in a country like like Kenya, like almost, I think, 20% or 30% of us are tech savvy or technically literate. So clearly you see the gap that exists there. The current platforms are not working for, the everyday Kenyan. And yeah, I got to realize that Kenyans, or rather newbies or new people that have just been orange pilled, just want a seamless way to interact with Bitcoin or to access Bitcoin, away from all that technical jargon and, those numbers and charts,
Yeah.
and yeah, those platforms that are majorly built for traders, I think. So yeah, that's immediately I understood the context or the size of this gap. And immediately I set out to build Bitika. So I immediately, um, with this idea, I immediately set out to, sort of curate some sort of design, not as software at that point, but just a design of what an average, or an everyday Kenyan would want. So I created a mock-up, or rather a design of, like a very seamless, that was the first version of Bitika, by the way, a very seamless and a short user experience that the everyday Kenyan would want. And immediately I had that ideal mock-up or prototype. What I did was, I now used this to, seek validation from Kenyans or from the Bitcoiners in the space. So I used to go to Bitcoin events intentionally, showing the community what I'm building, and just presenting the mock-up to them, and getting to see their feedback and what they think about such a such a product. At that time, it was just it wasn't functional.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to do. I walk to people, telling them, asking them the question of how do you get your Bitcoin? Most of them just receive Bitcoin as tips, from events or from friends. So most of them actually do not have a working way of, getting Bitcoin. Actually, even some of them go as far as, telling some of their technical friends to buy them Bitcoin and then send them Bitcoin to
Yeah,
them. So
I've experienced
that's
that. Yeah.
how sophisticated it was. And yeah, the moment I realized the intensity of this problem, even from the interactions that I had with the Bitcoin community here in Kenya, that's when I immediately set out to, let me build this thing and make it work because yeah, people are in need of it.
Well, congrats, man. Congrats on building it. Congrats on it being a success. I know when we got out to Matatu, there was somebody, I think that had seen our shirts with Bitcoin on it. They asked, I saw you
Yeah,
orange pilling. So I see you put in the work from the bottom level all the way up, orange pilling people, educating them, putting them on an app to
correct.
where they can buy it. So I want to salute you for the vertical integration that you're doing. Um, Now, how without a tech background or being tech savvy, how are you able to code this or develop this? Because isn't code like a bunch of zeros and ones? Like, talk to them about that process.
Oh yeah, so initially when discovering Bitcoin, I wasn't really a technical person. I had no technical background whatsoever. I was totally green with just a bunch of history and business lessons from high school, with zero computer knowledge. But now I signed up so I have a bachelor's degree in computer science. So that is what now built me to have that capacity to, like build my ideas. So back then when I discovered Bitcoin, I had no knowledge of building software. But now within the duration where I was enrolled in my degree, I gained that skills, mostly, as I'm a self-taught developer. So these are skills that I've gained consistently with my personal efforts, until to now a point where last year, immediately I understood the context of that challenge. I immediately set out to build it because, I have the skills now and I'm more comfortable building this thing alone. Yeah. And I think that's an advantage. I think having that technical or developer skill is very, very helpful. Because you literally have the power to build your idea.
Correct.
You can create any thought that you have. You can just build it and like at that point you have the superpower to create something
Yeah.
that is visible and something out of zeros and one, just like you said, can create something out of zeros and one and share with the community, something that is impacting the community. Yeah, so I think that's a skill that I would,
Yeah.
I'm humbled to have it. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like Nakamoto, Satoshi Nakamoto. Like he saw a problem, created a solution, changed the world. So there's a couple developers that I know. Are you familiar with a guy named Lamar Wilson from Kentucky in America?
Wilson?
Lamar Wilson, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Ah, I've seen him.
He created the very first wallet, like Bitcoin only wallet in the Apple Store years ago, like over a decade ago. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, he's a developer. That might be somebody you want. So like one of the things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect like African inventors and labor and workers and builders with American builders, workers, so that we can collab together. There's no reason for us not to collab together. And I know Lamar's like the best developer in the business. He started something called the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, which is where
Yeah.
I got my start.
Ah, I think I saw him in the recent conference, Africa Bitcoin Conference Diaspora. He was there, yeah.
Yeah, he was in both Boston and he was in Kenya at the at both African Bitcoin conferences.
Yeah, I also met him. Yeah, I saw him last year too. So
Yeah,
yeah, such a cool
yeah.
Christian
What
guy. Yeah.
what are some challenges that you've had? I know you recently had an update. I know that sometimes there's power outages in the African continent. Um, what are some have been like your major top three challenges that you've had to go through?
Um, wow. A lot of
That
challenges.
many.
A lot of anyway, but one thing with me, I totally embrace these challenges and I love the experiences that these challenges are putting me on. Yeah, and I think I'm enjoying addressing the challenges because there's no way I manage to, find a solution for these challenges every time the challenge presents itself. I always come up with a solution, and that's something fulfilling to me.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so starting with the recent challenge that, had pushed us to create some sort of updates on our website and even pause operations for a week. Yeah, that was the biggest challenge that I've had. So, as you're aware, Bitika is a non-KYC platform to, purchase Bitcoin. And okay, let me just walk you through the user experience or the audience. So what happens is you just go to bitika.xyz. At this point, you want to buy Bitcoin directly to your own Lightning wallet. So we do not take custody of our users' funds. We instead empower you as an individual to, take take full control over your funds. Do not trust us because we can get corrupted and we don't want that. So we send Bitcoin directly to you. So here's what happens. You come in the website, you just input the amount that you want to buy Bitcoin worth. So you can buy Bitcoin with as low as 10 Kenyan shillings. You then input your Lightning address. So it could be Wallet of Satoshi, Blink, Machankura, which is an uh, a feature wallet. So yeah, you define the Lightning address there. You proceed to input your M-Pesa number. So M-Pesa is I'm pretty sure you all know about M-Pesa, which is the mobile money network that works for Kenya and our neighboring countries as well. So that's literally uh, what we use for transactions and payments for goods and services, and it works very seamlessly. It's the most widely adopted service, honestly, and it has, I think, 50 million plus users. So yeah, that is what we use on a day-to-day basis here in Kenya for payments. So you input your M-Pesa number, that is step three. You input your M-Pesa number, and then you you trigger a prompt. You trigger a prompt to that M-Pesa number. So this prompt, you'll receive it within your phone, the phone that I want to pay with, because so the M-Pesa is integrated inside the SIM card, your mobile SIM card or the SIM toolkit. So you get a prompt to confirm that payment, and then immediately you confirmed, the amount is deducted from your M-Pesa wallet. And then once it's validated, immediately, actually, this process takes less than 10 seconds.
oh, wow.
So immediately you receive Bitcoin in your Bitcoin wallet. Yeah, in real time. All this happens in real time. So all this from step one to the last step takes, you know, could take even roughly less than a minute.
Yeah,
So that is Bitika. So what the recent case was, there was a culprit who was taking advantage of our non-KYC. Okay, not really non-KYC, but was taking advantage of Bitika to, to receive irreversible payments
yeah,
or to collect payments from victims who he has scammed. So the guy would, scam people with with his own narrative. So he has a whole different narrative that convinces someone who, is not aware of such cases. So the victim would now be convinced to, buy into this narrative from this culprit, and then now the culprit, prompts the victim via their M-Pesa number, something like, I'm going to prompt you to make this payment, okay? And then now we can proceed with our whole narrative, something like that. So immediately the victim pays, then they realize that, later on they realize that, this was a scam and they paid for nothing. But yeah, so but ideally the payment has under the hood, it has facilitated Bitcoin purchase to, now the scammer,
Yeah.
the one who's coming. So that's how the whole narrative is. And the victim who has just been scammed is now worried,
Yeah.
how can I reverse this transaction that I've just made? And to be honest, there's no way that we can do that within
Mm.
Bitika. So they would now call the Safaricom customer care that they want to reverse this transaction, and then Safari now it narrows down to us, and now they want us to find a way of help of recovering these funds. And now we're caught up in that, where we have to,
Yeah.
yeah, we have to deal with that. So we had paused operations because of that to, find a solution to prevent these cases. And that's why we rolled up a new feature to send OTP codes to the one who will ideally send this payment. Because the main issue, or the elephant in the room, is that the victims to this scam were not aware what this transaction was representing.
Correct.
Yeah, they were not really aware what this transaction was tied to, because ideally that transaction is tied to Bitcoin purchase at Bitika, but they were not aware of that. They were just, still under the narrative of the scammer.
Mm.
So we rolled up that new feature that, so before you send yourself a prompt to your M-Pesa number, you get an OTP, an SMS
Yeah.
that explains that this is you're about to make a Bitcoin purchase at bitika.xyz. Please do not share this code with anyone else. And
Yeah.
then with the code attached. So that code is now, validates that they are fully responsible of this transaction. So yeah, that was a very big issue with us,
Yeah.
because we had non-Bitika users who were losing funds in the name of Bitika, and that was not really
Yeah.
sitting right with us. So yeah, but I'm glad we fixed that. I'm glad I thought about that solution. It's a brilliant
Congrats.
solution, by the way. But yeah, yeah, that I would say that's the major issue that I've faced with Bitika. The other issues were hackers.
Of course, they always
So
gonna
I
try.
have been a victim.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've been a victim of hackers. I have lost money, Bitika money,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bitika sats. Yeah, Bitika sats that were providing liquidity at Bitika, and um, it was paining. It was paining, but I think it was also a point to learn about this potholes or loopholes that are existing within my infrastructure.
Yeah.
So I think these experiences have just molded me to be a better developer, I
There you
would
go.
say, with security being a top-notch concern.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, congrats on fixing the problem. Congrats on creating a solution to multiple problems. I think that's a true entrepreneur. You see a problem, you go ahead and fix it, whether it's buying buying Bitcoin, or whether it's fixing patches or dealing with hackers. And just for everybody out there, the way that I would describe M-Pesa is like a Cash App or a Venmo or a Zelle or a PayPal, except instead of it just being a company, it's like a countrywide way to send money. So like Cash App and Venmo, they don't get along, so you can't really transact with the two. But if everybody's in M-Pesa, that version of a mobile money, everybody's using it, and you don't necessarily need internet. Sometimes you just need a phone number. So I think that Kenya is way more advanced when it comes to the mobile payment systems than the U.S. is by far. And so it's amazing to see then you can now buy Bitcoin using M-Pesa, and you don't have to have a custodial that goes directly to your Bitcoin wallet. It's like a medium of exchange, basically. Um, I think that's absolutely amazing. So salute to you, salute to Africa for the M-Pesa solution, because we got issues in America. I got Cash App, you got Venmo, they got PayPal, they got Zelle, and we struggle sometimes just to send value. But out there, you guys don't really have that problem. Um, you mentioned us about how many people are on the Bitika team.
So, I have been the only team member for quite some time.
Okay, 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 no worries.
Um, and not intentionally though, because I realized the importance of having a team,
Yeah,
because I can't be still in every sort of field. So I have to have a team to and delegate tasks. But while searching for a team, okay, most people feel that I'm not currently in a position to, have employees or something of the sort, because that's what most guys that I approach are seeking for. So they are seeking for opportunities that have financial benefits, and to be honest, I'm not in a position to, because yeah, no one is paying me for this, and we are still not in that position to, we are still a grassroots project.
yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, currently I have two volunteers that
okay,
are helping, especially in the marketing department.
nice,
So yeah, I have a graphic designer and a social media manager. Yeah. So
nice.
that's that. Yeah, that's the entire picture of Bitika right now.
Question. So okay, so what's the pay structure for Bitika? Because I know if you're buying it M-Pesa, uh, and it goes directly to your wallet, like what's the typical service fee or the amount that you guys will receive per transaction?
Oh yeah. So yeah, we have a spread within Bitika for every transaction. So a 3% margin for every transaction,
Okay.
which is there, I think, temporarily. I hope so.
Yeah.
Usually because, okay, currently we are not really a licensed business. We're not registered as a company and are not licensed to be, performing these operations. So because of that, we have to rely on a third party licensed PSP, which is a payment service provider
Okay.
for that processes all transactions that happen within Bitika. So they charge us a 2% fee for that.
Mhm.
And the remaining 1% is what remains, to build Bitika and enable the operations within Bitika. So yeah. So I think we have a virtual assets providers bill, which is a vast bill, which is a digital asset bill
Yeah.
for Kenya. It's been in discussion for the longest time, and I think majorly that they're trying to regulate this space, the digital asset space, for both good and bad reasons,
Right.
of course.
Right.
Yeah. So until the bill is out, then we would say we have proper grounds to get registered as a business. I think this will in turn reduce the fees that we impose on our customers,
Yeah.
and get rid of the dependence of the payment service provider, because we would now be in a position to process the payments on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're an entrepreneur. How does that feel? Is it perfect sunshine every single day, or like how does it feel to be an entrepreneur? Solving all these problems.
Um, I, I I think it's given me lots of experiences, honestly, and
Yeah,
every day is a day to learn new things, and there's a lot I'm learning how, especially on entrepreneurship, because this is
yeah.
a field that relatively new to me. I was a coder. I was very nerd, by the way, before this,
Oh, okay.
because right now I'm wearing lots of hats. I am I as a founder, I need to, um, engage with my customers, engage with my potential clients, speak and preach about Bitcoin in almost every place that that I can, and
Yeah,
you get invited to different places to, educate the mass. So I think this is a very lovely opportunity, by the way. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this opportunity to wear many hats,
yeah.
uh, but majorly overall a problem solver and a savior, because I'm saving the world out of fiat, out of bad money.
There you
So
go.
yeah, I'm learning a lot as well,
And
especially at a young.
nice. What do you think is next? So you got Bitika. You're gonna continue to grow it, or you're gonna create another app, or what's next for Fidel?
What next for me? I think, yeah, I'm going to spend most of my time building Bitika,
Hmm.
if not all my time building Bitika,
Yeah,
and make Bitika work in all sorts of scenarios and edge cases, because like new cases get to unveil each and every day. So
yeah,
I am fully working on Bitika right now. But yeah, so I have also received multiple requests from different countries as well, neighboring
yeah,
countries like Rwanda, Uganda, and
yeah.
Tanzania, and even Mozambique. So yesterday I was on a call with Flaco from Blink. I
Hmm.
was on a call with him, and he was telling me how people from Mozambique are suffering from the same challenge, that um, they do not have any way to, access or buy Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And the Bitcoin community in Mozambique is in need of such a similar product. So they were wondering how that could become alive. So
yeah,
I think strategically, those are our plans, as well as very, very interesting strategies to, make Bitika a resilient, sustainable, decentralized network.
yeah.
If you get me. So decentralized in a way that we have nodes, we have Bitika nodes.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
this is something which is, I think I'm telling you, you're the first person I'm telling this.
Hey,
So,
y'all heard it right here
um,
exclusively on on the Smart Guy podcast. Appreciate you. Okay, we're gonna have these
strategic.
Bitika nodes. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's a strategic plan to have Bitika nodes, which are essentially agents that anyone can approach with cash or fiat, and in return they receive Bitcoin in their wallet. I think you've been here, you've seen the M-Pesa
yeah,
agents, the physical M-Pesa agents, yeah.
for
So
sure.
something similar.
Yeah,
But yeah, so we call them Bitika agents that are responsible to distribute Bitcoin in exchange for fiat. Yeah, which is it's gonna be cool, by the way.
yeah. I'm excited to see that. And before we
Yeah.
wrap this up, right? What is something that you would want to tell the world, whether about yourself, whether about Bitika, whether about Bitcoin? What would you want the world to know if you could tell everybody one thing?
Um, That caught me off guard. What came straight to my mind was, like the famous quote, which is "Not your keys, not your coins." But I'm considerate of our audience. I'm not too sure if everyone who's gonna hear this is a Bitcoiner. But for the non-Bitcoiners, I would just urge them to, understand how things work. Most of the times we're just consumers of systems that have been put into place to, work best for a certain demography and not work for some certain demography, but just to, understand how things work because it's that curiosity and that need to understand how things work that you can get to, realize the the importance of Bitcoin in our society and in our world today. So yeah, just understand how your financial system works and the issues with it. And now um, you'll get to realize the how Bitcoin is presenting itself as a solution to most of these challenges, if not all. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man. That was something big I learned out there, and I value a lot. Is that people weren't just trying to get rich; they were actually trying to create solutions to the problems. And so that's one thing with this podcast. I'm trying to go to the problem solvers, and I see you out there doing that. So I want to salute you. I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for showing me my first Matatu experience. Congratulations on the update. Congratulations on building something that is going to solve problems and help people out, create generational wealth, and to be able to use money that's not controlled by a government or any central entity, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks, CJ. Thanks for the warm words. Thank you for having me. I think I've enjoyed this. Always a good time with you. Yeah, I'm so humbled. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, y'all. CJ the Smart Guy, Fidel Otieno, we're out. Deuce.